To the story now, of course, you might remember that an ENC exclusive has revealed a cover-up in a deadly car accident involving interim chairperson of the Provincial Economic Development Agency, Chipani, Clifton Nkadimeng. 5 people died in that crash involving the vehicle of the ex-husband of Cocta Minister Thembi Nkadimeng. According to evidence, the vehicle was not roadworthy and had an invalid license disc when the crash happened back in July. But how did he manage to cover up the fact that the vehicle was not roadworthy? Well, we're joined now by the spokesperson of the Road Traffic Management Corporation, Mr. Simon Zwane. Mr. Zwane, thank you very much for speaking to us. We all know that it's the mandate of the RTMC whenever there's 5 people or more who've passed away in a collision, the RTMC is then called to come in and investigate. Can you confirm that the corporation is investigating this particular case?
Yeah, it is indeed our mandate to investigate whenever there are 5 or more people involved in the crash. But ordinarily, every accident would also be investigated by the police. And then our report and all its findings would then go to form part of the police docket. And the police would then take the matter up to the prosecutor for a decision. In a case where both drivers have died, there would be an inquest. The case where one driver is still alive and it's been found that the driver was responsible for the accident, they may decide on charge the person with culpable homicide.
But can you confirm?
Our report would be really wide-ranging because we're looking at road safety aspects. So we'd look at the conditions of the roads, environmental factors, and all such, and of course, driver behavior at the time of the accident.
All right, so that's generally what would ordinarily happen. But with this particular case from Sekhukhune, is the RTMC investigating this particular case? Were you called to investigate this one?
Yes, we investigated the matter. I may not go into the details for fear of jeopardizing the investigation. Remember, our investigators would have to go to court and provide witness, expect evidence on the thing. So I don't want to undermine their work by talking to the details. I'll confirm that they did investigate the matter. And the accident report is part of the police docket.
All right. So let's talk about the vehicle testing stations, right? The VTS. That's that's also under your mandate as the RTMC because it would be an e-notice issue later on, etc. So with the evidence that we have, it's that, the driver or the owner of the Mercedes-Benz GL500, that is Mr. Nkadimeng, later did some cover-ups. And I know you can't go into the details of the case, but VTS is also something that falls under the RTMC's mandate. So under what circumstances, for instance, Mr. Zwane, would VTSs either be closed, suspended for corrupt dealings or for being involved in cover-ups like this?
Yeah, strictly speaking, VTSs do not fall under the RTMC. They are authorized, it's just the mandate of the provincial departments of transport. And where evidence of corruption has been found, it becomes the responsibility of the relevant department to then close that testing station for violation of its license conditions, National Road Traffic Act regulations, and all of that. So that an investigation would have to be done. A report presented that shows the kind of irregularities have been found at the particular testing station, and a recommendation made to the MEC to close that testing station.
But the roadworthiness of a vehicle, does it also fall under the mandate of the RTMC, vehicle roadworthiness, etc.? When the provincial government, for instance, the MEC of Transport in different provinces, gives VTSs the certificate to practice, is the RTMC not involved at all in either the malpractice at that VTS?
No, we get involved in investigating malpractices at the vehicle testing stations. But there are also other inspectorates from the departments that get involved. But we do investigate fraud. As you would know, we have arrested a number of people in vehicle testing stations in Gauteng and even in Limpopo, and made recommendations for them to be closed. So we do investigate fraud that happens at vehicle testing stations, precisely because the roadworthiness of vehicles has been identified as a major contributor as well to road accidents on the road. Remember, as I said earlier, our mandate is really to ensure road safety. So we would investigate these matters as far as the impact on road safety. But we do have a dedicated unit that investigates corruption in licensing at vehicle testing stations, and even on the roads where officers were taking bribes.
Mr. Zwane, just explain something to me. As far as I understand it, if I had to go, and I'll just give you an example of one VTS, right, DECRA, for instance, to get a roadworthy certificate, isn't it a law that I have to go there physically with a vehicle?
Yes, it's a law. You can't do it any other way. To do it any other way would be fraud. The car must be presented physically at the vehicle testing station, and there must be a report, brake report, whatever report generated from the equipment that the testing station uses, and the pictures of the car get taken at that point. There's evidence that the car was brought there.
So how does that, what then happens going forward with this particular case, where we can see, for instance, that first of all, the license disc had expired 4 months prior to the accident. The next day, e-NATIS documents showed that the roadworthy certificate was required, right? And then suddenly a week later, the roadworthy certificate is given. But we all saw the pictures of this accident. The airbags were out. The front of the vehicle were completely damaged. What happens in an incident like that where, how does a person even get a roadworthy certificate that was that severely damaged? Here's the picture of the car on screen right now. How does he then get a roadworthy certificate for a car that looks like that?
It's not possible. It's not possible to get a roadworthiness for a car that has been damaged in an accident and get it a few days after that accident. It's highly impossible. So anti-corruption investigators will then investigate such a matter and take it to the police, who will then take it to court.
And Mr. Zwane, I know you said that, VTS certificates, and we know that they definitely lie with the different provincial MECs of transport, or rather that department. But I just want you to please assist us, especially after we heard from the former chief of the Johannesburg Metro Police Department yesterday. Are you concerned about, the fact that he says it's normal practice for people to get roadworthy certificates for cars that they didn't even bring, to the VTS physically at all? He says during his tenure, there were a lot of people at VTSs that were even arrested for that malpractice. So if it's something that's normal, it means South Africa has a lot of cars that are on our roads right now that are not roadworthy and that don't have a roadworthy certificate. They have ones that they were given without bringing a car physically there. Are you concerned about this as the RTMC?
I wouldn't use the word normal.
Yeah.
But we have evidence of malpractices happening at vehicle testing stations. As I've said, we've made a number of arrests. We have closed in Gauteng a number of privately owned vehicle testing stations where fraud has been found. And we currently even have investigations going on in a number of vehicle testing stations where we have found evidence of fraud and corruption. And when arrests are made, we generally publish that information for the public to know. I wouldn't say normal, but it's a concerning.
It does happen.
Matter that they are happening. and it does seem that there are many unscrupulous, privately owned vehicle testing stations.
How do we go about, I mean, luckily we have the e-natus system, right, to show us, for instance, dates and give proper evidence. But how do we go around the license disc issue, where somebody who's involved in an accident with a license disc that expired 4 months prior suddenly gets a license disc that is brand new after the fact? You know what I mean? I know that the e-natus system will obviously show, and investigators at the RTMC will be able to say that this is a red flag. But how do we go about it? I mean, for instance, those discs I can even get at the post office, and the post office doesn't need me to bring the card to show them that it's still there.
Yes, it's not a requirement that you must bring a card to get your vehicle disc. But we do keep an eye on the vehicle discs as well, because we have picked up instances of fraud that's happening with the issuing of vehicle discs. We have a big investigation going on. We will be inviting you guys as soon as we make those arrests. We are close to making a breakthrough on some of those, because that has been picked up also as an issue that is happening. We've put in place technological measures that assist us to be able to pick up where somebody is conducting fraudulent activities, particularly in our driving licensing centers. So we will be inviting you soon when we make those arrests, because we've picked up quite a number of irregularities involving huge sums of money. You would know about the matter in Bombela, for instance, where we had arrested 19 people, including fleet owners. They are still appearing in court. We think the trial will start in February. But we will be making arrests in other provinces soon, including in Gauteng.
Can I just put you on the spot very quickly, Mr. Zwane? So you confirmed that the RTMC was brought in. You are investigating this case, that your investigation now forms part of the police docket, right? So I know you can't give me any details, but there were 3 drivers here. 1 passed away, 2 are still alive. We don't know as ENCA, obviously, who this points to. Our story was about accountability and the fact that there was a cover-up after the fact, right, by one of the owners of one of the vehicles. But can you tell us where your investigation is pointing? Who should be charged?
No, we have done our investigation on the accident. We have identified the person who must be charged. That report is part of the police docket. In addition to that, we've looked at the fraud matters. That investigation not yet complete. We've been struggling to get some statements from some people, but we are close to finalizing that, because I think final statements are being taken this week. And that matter will also go to the fraud units of the police, and who will take it to the prosecutors for a decision.
All right, Mr. Zwane, thank you very much for your time. That was Simon Zwane, the spokesperson for the Road Traffic Management Corporation, confirming that that story that we aired yesterday, that exclusive about a Limpopo politician, very influential man in the province of Limpopo, his car being involved in a car accident. He names his son, Percy Sipeke Nkadimeng, as the driver. But afterwards, there was a lot of cover-up in terms of the car not being roadworthy, the license just being expired, etc. We'll continue getting reaction from different aspects of either police, RTMC, even lawyers on this story, so that we can assist the families of the 5 who passed away, or even Mr. Nkadimeng himself if he was not at fault.